Hey guys, got another deck dump for you here. Right now, got Knowledge Gohan. Now this is a deck that personally I have not put a ton of games on. Probably only put down maybe, man, I'd have to say like maybe 10. It's kind of been a lot of theory crafting. Kind of a deck I've always kind of sat back and thought about. I look at other people's lists. I always kind of think about it a bit, and then I usually never end up really building it. As far as Gohan goes, as an MP, he's very versatile in terms of how I think you can build him. Right now, I think the blue and the Namekian versions are probably the strongest versions. With that said, you can build him with or without allies. You can build him kind of solo, which is the style that I like to play. Or you can build, like I said, you can build an ally. Both do kind of different things. Both have different card choices, I feel, and different room for things. As far as that goes, I'll start with the breakdown here of how I built mine. So of course we have all 7 Dragon Balls, one with the Knowledge Mastery, with Gohan just for the extra anger gain. I think this is the most consistent, maybe not most consistent, but it's the most explosive and most anger gain mastery. Enlightened Mastery, does give you 2 anger pretty regularly. Radiant can usually only give you maybe like 1-2 anger. I just think Knowledge Mastery is probably the best mastery in general from Namekian. Radiant Gohan is definitely a very strong deck. I have played against it. Shane Reynolds has a nice one that I've played against. I've made Radiant Gohan maybe once or twice with Future Gohan. I actually like that deck more with Gohan and Friends, running the Awakening one, and running an ally package, Energy Beats, and you just try to use all the Ball Beast cards. But anyway, different topic, different deck for different day. On top of this Namekian balls, we have Namekian Fusion at a 2. I think if you're not running allies, you gotta have this card in your deck if you're doing Gohan. That's my opinion. With the stage beat meta that we're in right now, this card is just way too damn valuable. It puts you to full. You can draw, you draw a card no matter what, but you can get state, you can rejuvenate 2, so this gives you full stages in anger in a card. I mean, this card is awesome. Namekian Growth, this is always going to be one of the best Namekian cards in the game, I feel. It is so strong. Namekian in general has some just really, really nice cards, but this card is very versatile. You drop one of these on the table and your opponent never knows what the hell's going to happen, because you might just have a ball 7 in your hand for the end of the combat to drop, or ball 4 randomly in a combat, ball 3 or 5 or 2, just the dynamic Dragon Balls are so strong. So for me personally, I think the biggest strength in Namekian is just focusing on doing stuff with the balls. And Growth is just excellent card. It has so many options, and with this deck, it's very easy to get up to your level 3 to tutor whatever you want with this card. And just even, no matter what, just rejuvenating 4 off this card is so strong. I'd love to put it at a 3. Kind of going to be, if I ever find the space for it, I might do that. But for right now, it's awesome 2 of, just like Namekian Fusion is. Namekian Wish, again, great for the aggro matchup. Really nice card. Gets you more cards in your deck against combat. Just really nice to just have, and really good even for late game, just to kick a couple cards back in your deck. Dragon Radar, Namekian Dragon Clan, just great. Again, Namekian's all about just kind of playing those balls. So, just any sort of thing that kind of gets you to play them. Again, Growth lets you play a ball out of your hand. These play them off the board, or sorry, from your deck. I mean, just being able to use the Dragon Balls is huge. Making Hurried Quest, same philosophy. We're just trying to play the balls, and putting the Dragon Balls in your hand mid-combat against a mischievous deck is really nice to just help protect your hand. Making Chase, definitely a mid-range card. I like this card a lot. Lets you play a little more loose with the Dragon Balls. Protects the Dragon Balls. Yeah, helps you filter at ball 1 and 6 when you've been playing all the active ball effects and you don't want your opponent to have them. Also, just nice anti-anger that it's not an attack, which is nice, so that they don't get to play a block into. Definitely a card that I think is meta-dependent, but very nice in this deck. Now, Making Overtime, this is a card that I really think is a great 2 of. Now, what's nice about this card is it has so much flexibility about what you can tutor, which I'll get into the tutors for it in a second here. But inherently, this card replaces itself almost always, which is great. It gives you an anger, which is great, which again, with Gohan, future Gohan, generally speaking, a lot of times you want to go up through his levels and being able to chain actions into combat while also robbing your opponent or making them penalized for playing, which is the style of Gohan, is really great. But this card just does so much and adds to the extra mill effects that you're kind of getting to go on. But the flexibility of this card is where, this is why I have it. So you have in my deck, you have cards like Maximal Will, if you need on-demand anger hate, Onslaught, if you just want to lay out the beats, Targeted Strike, if you know that you want to use a ball, if you know that you can hit it for one, generally speaking, you're generally going to know if you can hit this or not. But this card, being able to tutor Targeted Strike into combat when you know that you can get away with the hit effect on it, is huge with this card. It gives you so many more actions, like if you have a ball 3 or 5, being able to tutor the Targeted Strike to hit that with that, to draw you more cards to extend your combat goes crazy. And same thing with Onslaught, being able to draw into onslaughts, or tutor onslaughts with this gives you so many more actions. And we also have Resourceful Shot for those on-demand crits for whatever you need. So again, this has so much flexibility. It's as flexible as what you decide to throw in your deck. Confrontation, I added 2 of right now. I only added 2 just because I'm fighting for room right now. This deck is a lot of like come and see what happens, I think. But I would love to have 3, but for now it's 2 because we can recur them. I have 1 Heroic Energy Sphere, can recur it. I only have 1 because I threw in a Silencing. You never know when you might want to protect your balls. And plus just playing this is like a Super Sphere, so kind of see how it goes. I've enjoyed having it. I think these numbers, as much as I would like to get maybe a second Sphere or a third Confrontation, it's going to kind of have to depend on where the hell I find room. Time, staple card. Hybrid Defense, obviously very Namekian staple. Great card. For block line, on top of the Hybrid Defense, or for block line, you also have Namekian Energy Guard. This card putting 2 cards back in your deck. Awesome, giving you anger with the mastery. Knee block is in here. So as far as the physical blocks go, they can kind of, I think they could definitely be a bit fluid about what I want to run. But for right now, I have 3 knee block, just for that passive anger gain if I want to pass and rejuve it against the slow matchups. But it also has endurance, and I do have rejuvenation on my level 3. But there are enough cards that I can kind of build up, like growth, fusion, the ball effects, the hybrid, the sphere, overtime. Doing the ball stuff with the hurried quest, they can all kind of proc that, which is nice. Onslaught, forceful block, that stage gain and the rejuve. It's an anger card, and giving you the stages enough stage beat meta is huge. It's almost like taking 2 physical attacks for you because of the stage gain. Clamp at 2. This could always go to 3. Could always fluctuate, I think, but because it replaces itself and gives you an anger, and it's got so much endurance, such a damn good card. I think, for me personally, I think that dedicated here, physical blocks on top of the 3 hybrids and time is enough, along with just anger in general, I think is enough. And you have a Namek Ball 6, so this deck is definitely kind of, many of my decks right now are kind of geared towards being able to survive a physical beat deck. Down to the energy tax, you have Namekian Maxwell. Now this card is a staple, I think, in almost every Namekian deck. It's hard to not run this card just for the sheer value. It's a blue head knock for Namekian. It's been good since Set 1, so that's why it's in here. And being able to tutor it when I need it, it's really great. It's just got a lot going for it. Same with Onslaught, just another card. Again, this deck is really, I think in general, Knowledge decks are best when they're trying to play with, just trying to play the Dragon Balls as much as possible and kind of like use and abuse them. Onslaught goes right with that because we're going to be playing the Dragon Balls and trying to get them out. Onslaught can just do so much for you. I mean, we don't necessarily have any mods in the deck, but either way, a double use attack, that's 2 anger. It's equivalent to like a red double strike. So just very good card. Just mainly 2 of because we can loop it back in the deck if we need to. Next I have physical attacks with Namekian Right Throw. This is just kind of a staple Namekian anger card. Hard not to run this card. 3 anger, swing and knowledge, and we do want to be leveling. Yep, sorry for a cut. I had to go answer the door downstairs, but we do have Backlash though. It is a card that can jump you levels, which again we're trying to do. Namekian doesn't have the best anger hate. I mean, Tug of War would be a nice card to add, but I think for now this card does, and this card just can do so much for you. Training levels with future Gohan is huge, especially if somebody thinks that they can, enter on you and get around your level 1 power. So they're not shut off, and then you just, you play Backlash, and you go up to level 2 or 3, and you punish them for it. No matter what, you end up going back down to 2. In some matchups, you don't necessarily want to play this because you might want to hang on 1 a little bit longer. But being able to jump to 4 or 3, especially for the right matchup, is really nice. And just being able to jump and get the stages back is great too. We have Gohan's Power Punch. It's a 2 anger card. It's kind of like in the same camp of Right Throw, just helping you level when you need it. We have Devastating Blow at 2. I would love to put this card at 3, but spacing right now. Just a great card. Anti-anger. Pile Hate I think is super, super important right now. Big reason why I think Majin Vegeta is very good MP to be playing. Nothing more I can really say about Devil. I think it's one of the best, if not... It's personally was my knockout card of set 1 that I always felt was the best card in set 1. And you can argue time, VTP, and all other stuff, Ball 7, Dynamic Ball 7, absolutely, but I think Devastating Blow is for sure one of the strongest cards in the game, I feel. 2, Zone Pressure, you don't always need it for the matchup, and you don't always have a ball, but having 2 of it is nice, and considering that it kills setups and drills and it banishes them, really nice. Again, a lot of these cards are 2-ofs because we can loop them back into the deck with Rejuvenation. So, it's really nice. 2 Target Strike, awesome card. You don't always want to see it, just like Zone Pressure. You gotta have a ball out for it to be good, but when you get the right setup with this, and generally speaking, my favorite plays have been when I combo this card with Overtime, and just being able to tutor Target Strike with the Overtime is just awesome. Being able to just turn out these crazy combats that Namekian is capable of. It's just a huge combat extender, just like how Hurried Quest can be in Overtime, can be with either the Onslaught or, like I said, Targeted Strike. So, and Resourceful Shot, just utility. I think just having crits in the deck in general is pretty good, at least having a couple. Lets you, again, just like the, I suppose, silencing, it kind of lets you play a little more looser with when you're going to want to play your Dragon Balls. But right now, this is the deck. I've dabbled in trying to play the ally version, or future going with allies. It's not my play style. I don't think it's bad. It's just not for me. So this is kind of what I've settled on. As far as Unleashed goes, that's kind of the card I've considered. It takes up a lot of space. So I don't have it in right now. It kind of just depends, really. I think this build I have going for me works for me. I think, in general, Namekian is pretty flexible with your card choices, and so it's a matter of what your playstyle is. There's a lot of other cards, like Namekian's Sidekick, and Namekian Palm Shots is a card I don't ever see people play. Sidekick I do see some people play. The cards that... a lot of the Namekian draw cards, I think, are things that can always make their way into, a more aggro MP, like Gohan, for Namekian, but this is what I have right now. I think, for the most part, it's worked out pretty good. I think cards that I'm kind of iffy on are definitely the Silencing. It's kind of been one that I'm going to be testing. Chase is kind of one of those things too. It's just nice to have that anger hate is really needed. But that's a card that could definitely maybe see a flip. I think Hurried Quest has been phenomenal. I think Overtiming, phenomenal. Targeted Strike, phenomenal. Dev Blow is phenomenal. Backlash, kind of hit and miss, kind of depends. I think for the most part it's positive. Right Throw, great. As far as block line, I think all the block line has been pretty good. Onslaught's been pretty good. I mean, I think pretty much every card in here has its place, and it's mostly, again, playstyle. But this has all worked out for me. Maybe you have a different list that you want to share, or you want to critique, or maybe you have a combo that works really good. Feel free to share it. Hopefully this kind of stimulates some thought process. I've always been a big fan of Future Gohan since he came out, and so I'm always searching for another deck to run him in. I don't think the Knowledge is as good as Empowered ever was. I don't think any Future Gohan deck is going to be as good as Empowered Future Gohan. You can argue that to the end of the earth with me, but I think the Knowledge one is one of the better ones that you could be playing right now if you feel like playing Future Gohan.